I hope it's okay with you guys, but my shadow's gonna hang out with us today because she just won't go away. So, today I did another one of my gratitude practices from the magic, and today's practice was about being grateful for food and water. Yes, it seems super simple, doesn't it? However, when you actually dive into being grateful for your food and your water, for example, if you're really grateful for it and you concentrate on what you're actually tasting, the flavors like explode. Like it's just such a bigger, it's a way bigger experience than just going day by day. And before you say you don't have time to do this, if you're eating something, you have time to do this. All you got to do is when you're taking a drink of anything or you're eating anything, to focus on it. Doesn't really take much extra time. I remember there was a time in 2017 when I barely had enough money to buy food. That was when I lived on my own for the few months that I did, and I experienced like the littlest bit of what being hungry feels like. And I say the littlest bit because there are people in this world that go days, weeks, months without food, and it's not their choice. So that's why I say littlest bit. And I had someone I barely knew who helped me get food, and that was amazing. But when I was reading this book, it was expressing and explaining how much actually goes into creating your food, and talks about the farmers, talks about the people who supply the farmers with the equipment, with the seeds, with the soil. It talks about the truck drivers who have to drive like across the world to give this food to the grocery stores. It talks about the people in the grocery stores who put it out for everybody, who pick what actually goes out into the store for us to consume. And then I went further and thought, what about like the people who supply a job for you so that you could have the money to purchase the food for yourself? And those people who have higher ups who hired them so that they could hire you. Like, it's all a really cool web of people who have to be a part of this in order for you and me to eat good food and to eat the best food. I don't know how many times I've complained about food that I don't like when now I'm realizing how many people put so much effort into creating that, into making that, and growing that. And here I am complaining about it when it's just the fact that I don't like it. There's nothing wrong with not liking something you're eating. It's just maybe instead of having a negative, letting myself be negative about it, be like, you know what? It may not be bad food, and unless it's like rotten or whatever, but it may not be bad food. However, I don't like it, and that's fine. But before I go into circles, I just wanted to quickly express that you can use this kind of practice in any area of your life. For example, bills. We all have to pay them, most of us anyway. And instead of, like, obviously there's so much negativity around bills and having to pay bills and living to pay bills and all this stuff. But instead of looking at it that way, and I have to remind myself too, look at a bill as someone providing a service for you. What is that bill doing for you? If all you can think of is that all that bill is doing for you is so that nobody comes at your door collecting money themselves, then you know what, that's better than nothing. But most bills have a service attached to it, like our internet. or our medical, or what's another thing? Or for me, my credit counseling. That service is allowing me to be able to pay off people I owe, or a loan that you have. The people who you took a loan from are allowing you to pay it off in portions instead of the whole thing. Your insurance is allowing you to have this car so that so you to drive it. And if you get into any problems, your insurance is there, depending what kind of insurance you got, to help you out. My camera died. I'd rather be in a mindset of always appreciating things than in a mindset of underappreciating things and complaining about my life. Because that always sucks the life out of you. It doesn't add any value to your life or anybody's life around you. Now, appreciating and being grateful for what you have and where it comes from and who created it and who delivered it, it can go so far. There's another book I'm reading. I'm gonna go grab it. I only started reading this book not too long ago. My dear friend Nicolene, she bought it for me. Thank you. And it's called Thanks 1,000. And I'm only like a chapter or two into the book, but it's about a man who used to go to this coffee shop. I don't know if he still goes, but he used to go to this coffee shop, and he decided to create this project about being grateful for the coffee he's drinking. But he went and to the extent of flying to the actual farmers who created the coffee, and like the higher ups and the bosses and the truck drivers, and that's what it all says in the description. I haven't read the whole thing yet, but that is what he's done. He traveled the world to show how grateful he was. I'm not saying for all of you to do that. If you can, then do it. However, and I wish I could do it, when you get your cup of coffee today, let's use that as an example. Cup of coffee, cup of tea. If you go to Starbucks, Tim Hortons, Second Cup, Dunkin' Donuts, wherever you live in this world, when you get that beverage or any food, really think about how it was created, how much work had to go into that one cup of coffee so you could drink it and have a pick-me-up in the morning. When I decided to start practicing that, it kind of blew my mind. My cup of coffee almost became more than $5. It became like 5,000. There's so much work that gets put into things, and we only pay like a small fraction of it. I'm not saying that I want things to be more expensive, because the cost of living these days is outrageously stupid. However, being grateful for things, because to be honest, there's so much work put into what we get to consume and drink every day. Specifically, this what I'm talking about. I would just rather be in that mindset, and it's a really cool feeling when you start thinking about these things as well. So I don't know, I just wanted to do this video to encourage you to maybe look at your cup of coffee this way, to really ponder on it and think about how much work was put into that plate of food that you created, that you made for dinner, and how many people actually made your dinner. Yeah, you made it, put in the frying pan, all that stuff, but who created it? So I don't know, I just thought it's kind of like a magical feeling. So much love, guys. Thanks so much for watching this video, and thanks so much for letting my I know, crazy, letting my shadow join us today, and I'll see you in the next video. See you guys.